Triple M Grill Team.
Yesterday around about 8:30 in the morning, boys, a four-wheel drive hit a group of cyclists on Southern Cross Drive in Mascot. This was a regular ride and route for the cycling club. The cycling club was Eastern Suburbs Cycling Club. 7 cyclists were taken to hospital, including a 16-year-old boy, and were treated for varying injuries. 4 of those remain in hospital. No one has passed away. We put the story up on our Grill Team Facebook page and Twitter, and we'll talk about some of the comments that were sent on that in a moment. But to get the latest on the injuries, and also just to talk about it is Colin Ironmonger. He's the Eastern Suburbs Cycling Club president. G'day, Colin. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good.
Mate, how are your troops?
They're faring reasonable. Out of the... Actually, seven were taken out by the motorists, but only 6 were taken to hospital. One guy got up and at the end rode home by himself and then admitted himself into hospital and then was later discharged after having scans. So he's okay. The young guy, Bryce Dean, the 16-year-old, he was discharged yesterday afternoon as well. Mm-hmm. The other 5 still remain in hospital.
Okay. Colin, what are some of the injuries to the cyclists?
All of them have got some sort of spinal injury, nothing serious, but things that will keep them in the hospital for a couple of days. One of them will take probably up to about 6 months to recover from it. Fractured skull, broken ribs.
Jeez.
One's going into surgery this morning for severed nerves, probably severed nerves to her arm. She's got quite a bad gash and has lost some feeling in her hand, so they're going to check that out this morning.
Oh, boy.
What's happened to the driver?
Don't know. He's got himself a lawyer and he's gone undercover, so we don't know.
Okay.
No CCTV at the moment, mate, to be able to see exactly what happened?
No, there was no on that stretch of road. There is no CCTV, and none of the riders had GoPros on. So,
okay.
Hey Colin, this sort of stuff, it's amazing, and it's not just with cyclists. It's amazing when people get behind the wheel of a car sometimes, the aggression they get to, and they get right on your bump. I was in a situation yesterday where there's a person in the right-hand lane, and they just couldn't get across, and you got a bloke who was dead set half an inch off their back bumper, and you're going, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So, Colin, this sort of stuff, you must have close shaves.
Yeah, we have some massive close shaves, especially on that stretch of road on Southern Cross Drive. It is unfortunate that where we do train, and it's not just our club, it's all the clubs in Sydney, we use that road in the weekends. If you've been out there, the cyclists, packed with cyclists there all the time coming back from Waterfall or going out in both directions. The cars, 99% of them are fine. You do get the odd one, and trucks as well that will come right up behind you.
Boy.
And they'll just sit there, and you know that something's going to happen. And then when they pull out and pass, they don't give you that meter matters. And one of the problems is with motorists, they don't understand that cyclists have the same rules as a motorist, whereas legitimate road users, we have the same rules and rights and responsibilities as a motorist. Now, when we're on a carriageway such as Southern Cross Drive, being a 2-lane highway, we have the right to take a lane, providing we've got 2 or more cyclists.
Okay. Well, Colin, thank you so much for your time, and we certainly wish that all your cyclists recover really, really well. There's some comments you might want to listen to that, and I'm sure you've probably heard them before, being from a cyclist club. Some of the people on our Facebook page and on our Twitter just sickened me yesterday. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to actually say the name of the people or not, Pagey, or just maybe the comments.
Let's leave their names out. There's people who have written stuff that,
and it may not be their actual names.
They should be able to put their name to it, but you never know.
Talk about, absolutely right. We missed all of them. They survived. Try harder. 100 points to the car driver, said someone else. Get cyclists off the road. They're useless dogs. Whoop, whoop. 7-hit combo, bonus points. These cyclists are so ignorant. I hope the driver didn't get injured. Get these C's off the road, full stop. Arrogant pests, find a bike track.
You can say cyclists.
No, it's not cyclists. Sucked into the C's, stay off the road. Suck S, get the F off the road, and good, I hate these C's. They're just a little portion of some of the people that wrote those comments on our Facebook and also our Twitter yesterday. Now, I'd just like to say to any of those people that if they're listening to us now, and I hope you aren't.
One's a woman.
To be honest with you, because I hope that people like you don't actually listen to the Grill Team, because I believe our listeners are beautiful, wonderful people. But you're disgraceful, and we'll make sure that we send all those comments to the right people. We'll get you deleted and blocked from our particular social network, and we'll try our best to make sure that you get yourselves in trouble. 133353. You've heard the comments from Colin from Eastern Suburbs Cycling Club. You've heard the comments from our Facebook people. Please let us know what your thoughts are on 133353.
Don't cyclists divide people, though? I mean, even as Colin said there, will cyclists have the same, rules of the road as everyone else?
Yes.
Yeah, but unless there's a red light, and then you can just go through that if you're a
Mate,
cyclist.
I've got a mate of mine who's a big cyclist, cycles 100 Ks every week and stuff. He knows that there are some bad people out there, but he said predominantly most people are doing the right thing. Their fathers, their sons.
What's the answer about
Gus?
What's the answer? I mean, I drove in here yesterday.
Give them room, mate.
From Penrith, and this torrential rain hit on the way on the M2. Next minute, I know there's two bike riders on the inside lane. They're in there, like away from the cars, but every car going past was either missing him by a foot or the water debris from the road was hitting him.
Well, what you've got to do is you've got to give them their lane, mate, and go in the other lane.
Colin was
there's
just
two lanes on the freeway. They were in the inside. They were in their lane. But I'm just saying, even then, in the circumstances, there must be somewhere they can go to like a...
There's not enough bike tracks, unfortunately, to be able to do that.
Colin just said that stretch of road when you get on the Pacific Highway heading out towards Waterfall there. When I was at the Sharks, we used to go on long bike rides out that way. After a while, I just said to him, mate, I'm sorry, I'm
too
not
dangerous.
doing this. Number one, I'm not a competent enough rider. But number two, you got trucks going past, sometimes in the rain. Mate, it was chilling.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do it.
It was chilling.
Give us a call, 133353. Plenty of calls lined up already. Looking forward to the chat. Yesterday, a whole group of cyclists on Southern Cross Drive at Mascot were hit at about 8:30 by a four-wheel drive. Fortunately, some are still in hospital. Fortunately, no one has passed away. Nothing major in terms of accidents. Lots of bruises and so forth. Varying injuries. We spoke beforehand to Colin Ironmonger, who's the Eastern Suburbs Cycling Club president, and he told us about the fact that road is extremely dangerous, but cyclists do have the same, what's the word? Rights, thank you, as cars do. And we threw it open on 133353 after a whole heap of people on our Facebook and Twitter.
You know what, Gussie, I think it is
been disgraceful in their abuse of cyclists.
I know you said that. I think the reason is, and I don't know because I'm not a bike rider, but I think the main reason we don't have that tolerance for bike riders is we know that they're on our roads, but they pay no rego, they don't pay any tolls when they go through them. I know they probably want it if they're allowed, the bike riders, but they want the rights on their roads that motorbikes and cars want, but they don't pay for the right.
Yeah, and it's not their fault that they don't pay for the right.
No, I'm not saying that,
okay.
but that's why public perception of bike riders is so rampant.
I can understand that. Andrew from Penrith, what are your thoughts?
How you going, boys?
Hey,
thanks.
Drew.
Strong.
Look, I'm a cyclist myself, right? And I've got to disagree there with MG, right? I mean, as a cyclist, we are motorists. At the end of the day, we're still paying our rego, we're still paying our tax.
What rego?
Yeah, so they're not paying rego on the bike, you're paying rego on your car.
Yeah, but you're still riding. But you're riding on freeways where all of a sudden you come up on them and you go, sure, I just missed that bike rider on the inside lane.
Yeah, and I agree. And I also agree that, we should be paying rego and things like that as well. But unless the government introduces that, we can't do that.
That's right. You can't be punished for something you'd like to do, but you're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, I mean, I've been hit myself. I know 3 people in my lifetime have actually been killed on the M4 where there is a bike lane as well.
Man.
Yeah, Johnny.
I mean, it doesn't... Even if there's a bike lane available, motorists are still... They still just don't pay attention. They don't see us. I mean, I'm 6'4", so I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
Right, and they still come that close to me and I'm like, how can you miss me?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, they just don't pay attention and they don't understand. There needs to be education out there to say, hey, look, this is what cyclists are. This is what you need to do. Because at the end of the day, if there's one sort of little clip, we're gone. Our life's dead. Cool. See you later.
Well, especially on the motorway,
Scary,
Drew.
So much pace.
But it's easy to miss them because you're doing 110 Ks. They're doing 30 or 40.
That is a fair point.
That's why you miss them. All of a sudden, you go from the middle lane to the inside lane, and you only go over by a metre, and all of a sudden you're on the...
Should there be restrictions on certain roads to say, listen, on certain...
Well, you can't go on
It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to Julian in Penrith. Hi, Julian.
How you going, Gussie?
Yeah, I'm not bad, mate. What are your thoughts?
Mate, MG took the words right from my mouth. I ride a trail bike that's unregistered, and I don't ride it on the road, but if they're allowed to ride a cycle bike on the road, unregistered, and follow road rules, I can't see why I wouldn't be allowed to, but the legality of it is I'm not, and I can't understand why, you know, like, they want equal rights on our roads. They should pay equal fees as we do, you know?
You know what? You're absolutely right. And I reckon if you asked most cyclists, Julian, they'd be happy to pay
I don't think
that
they would.
rego.
No, let's not go to fairyland. I don't think you pay an extra $1 if you don't have to.
No, but you know what? That's a fair point.
I think we should extend it actually to rollerbladers and skateboarders as well. Thank you, Julian.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, Julian. Let's go to Darren. He's a truck driver. He's from Guildford. Hi, Darren.
How you going, Gorillas?
Hey, Daz.
What are your thoughts?
Nothing's worse than you're driving through the city. The roads are thin. You come up on a cyclist. You give him the meter. You go around him. You pull up to a set of lights. You look on the footpath. He's riding down the footpath to get in front of you. And then it all starts again.
Yeah, but it is frustrating, Darren, and I think lots of cyclists would say there's plenty of cyclists out there doing the wrong thing, but most are doing the right thing. But I do take your point, especially when you overtake them, you take your time to do it, and then they're back at the lights again in front of you.
So you're saying, Darren, that basically it's a just an inconvenience. You've got to go around them all over again. I mean, because my first thoughts when you said that is, it's not a race on the roads. I mean, it's just the very fact that all of a sudden you've got to go through the process again of going around them.
Yeah, and they're doing the right thing. They're exercising. I mean, they're trying to stay fit, these guys, on bikes, but they just seem to be... I'm talking more of the motorways. That's my more worry.
You're more worried about the safety issue, though.
Yeah, of course.
You're not worried about them being on the road. You're worried about their safety.
I'm worried about maybe hitting one accidentally on the motorway. Like yesterday when it was torrential rain, all of a sudden two were on top of me.
Scary.
You feel
I think
awful,
it's a bit of common sense either way, isn't it, really? A little bit of common sense either way.
Yeah, and the grubs that are on our social pages.
Come on, mate.
Come on, buddy.
Are you serious? Don't, no, we're not joking about this one, boys. You've seen the type of stuff that they said. Can we make sure that we get rid of them?
Social media.
We block them, delete them, and we hope you're not listening to our show because we don't want people like you involved. Anyone who's bagging people...
Unless they've got a ratings book.
But nonetheless, take anyone.
Not even that, thank you.
Facebook and Twitter, have your say online. Just, keep it civil.
The Triple M Grill Team.